Welcome, one and everyone. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. Welcome to October. Welcome to October's first feature. Welcome to Toby Hofacre, who's going to be featuring after a quick open mic. This is how we do it around here. And we were very excited about this. And Toby, I had met way back during my feature in 2024 at the Walnut Street Cafe. This poet who was holding his own with all the decrepit 60-year-olds, 60, 70, and 80-year-olds, such as myself, who go there on a regular basis, who go to open mics on a regular basis or host them. Person was like a young reincarnated Rodney Dangerfield. He got all of my old references, which I appreciated. He he did a slamming job himself on the open mic. I've been hoping Stone Soup could adopt him legally as that being his our official open mic mascot. But he belongs to Walnut Street. He belongs to the organizers there, including beloved aunt MP Carver. So I know when I'm licked. But I'm so glad to have Toby feature here today. We'll do that right after the open mic. Just as a side note, okay, Jan and James have their camera open. All right, but the first person coming up on the open mic is the poet of Three Rivers. If you go to oddballmagazine.com and scroll down a bit, you'll see the latest ethics treatise, philosophy essay by Stephen David Joseph Sills. He's a man of four names. I get the four names mixed up, but his last name is Sills. He has the latest chapter of his treatise, and it is incredibly illustrated by the man coming up now who contributes poetry and art, not just to Oddball Magazine, but to the social media sphere abroad. Let us welcome up the self-proclaimed poet of Three Rivers. He will not tell you which rivers those are, at least not the same three in a sentence. Welcome up, Richard Spizak.
Thank you so much, my friends. I have two little pieces for you. I hope you find amusing. The first one, I have to admit, is a bit of an angry poem, but these are the times. It's called They Grabbed Greta. Yes, the world is impressed, forcing this young woman who cares deeply about the world, its plants, its animals, its people, its climate, to kiss your bloody flag. What grade school bully wouldn't recognize and smile warmly at your brutality? How can we not be impressed with the high humane values that drove you to drag a young woman by the hair and then rub your bloody flag in her face? Your sisters, your family must bristle and snarl with feral joy at your powerful gunboat patriotism and nuclear brutality. What a fine example you are with your deeply civilized values. You have indeed, again, impressed a shocked world. And now, as our brothers in Monty Python used to say, now for something completely different. You can probably guess who this is about. It's called Oh Boy, He Wants His Special Parade. Oh, he wants a special parade, the kind that only generals gave. He wants it big, he wants it noisy, with rockets rare and tanks from Joycey. But he's decided it's just for him. He's decided this time it's not a whim, that no one else can watch his glory because no one else can absorb his divinity story. After all, the tanks are rows and rows of trucks. No one will have this kind of luck to even catch a peek, because on either side of his tank complete, he'll be riding bareback, if you know what I mean. You think it's funny? Well, it's sure not obscene. Not like his wife sprawled naked on a plane. These are his daughters-in-law. They do it for fame. All his daughters will be riding and striding bare. It's just the thing that only he will be the private parade gets to stare. It's almost a little mean. He wants one on each side of the tank where he's riding, grinning, never subsiding. And for you as well as for them, it's a little more than frightening. Thank you. An honor, as always, to be in Oddball Magazine. I salute you. And if you want to see a very unusual essay, I urge you to definitely check the essay out. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, Richard. And yes, Mr. Stills over at Oddball Magazine has been contributing not just this ethical ethics treatise, 20 chapters, 21 chapters in so far. He has also contributed much poetry, and commenting on the ongoing Ukraine conflict. He might start up that series again very soon. He's kind of one of the roving poets that contribute more regularly because it's all in the timely issues. If you want to be a roving poet, well, write a fucking lot and send it to us. Up next, Tony Artuso just had a successful smashing reading at the Controverse Open Mic. Let's welcome her back. Not content to sit on her laurels, she's back to the Stone Soup Open Mic.
Well, yeah, no, that was the my reading was so good it broke the camera. That's how good my reading was. The last time I went, they only went operating cameras still, so hopefully they'll fix it. This poem came as a surprise to me. I sent it out in January to Via Voices in Italian Americana, and I hadn't heard from them until yesterday when they sent me an email and said, "Here's a proof of your poem. It's showing up in next month's magazine." Fortunately, nobody else had taken it. So this is going to show up in Via next month. It's my version of a golden shovel. I know this is not how Terrence Hayes does it, but until Terrence Hayes comes on Stone Soup and tells me how to do it, I'm going to do it my way. So in my way, I take the text that I'm using and use it at the beginning of the line, not the end of the line. And the text that I'm using in this poem comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20, verses 26 through 27. That's the King James Bible. And in case you're not familiar with the verse, I'll read it. "It shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. Whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant." And as you may recall, that's Jesus talking to the apostles who were arguing about who was the big kahuna. I don't think kahuna was in use in ancient Israel, but if they had it, I'm sure that's what they would have used. In any case, this poem is called "To the Director of Family Engagement." It happens each Sunday. From the altar you say, "We shall find a prayer partner nearby." Trying not to roll my eyes, I wonder how you could be so cruel as to call me sir at the door. Among those in my pew is one who, unlike you, speaks no English, so he says little, but his daughter, Mari, a teacher, does. Whosoever they are, pray students succeed. That will be great, I agree. Then I lose myself among verses, hymns. When we rise to receive Eucharist, Juan waits, lets Mari lead. I let him follow her. He pauses for me to be the lady, too, like his child. I meet your eyes. You stand before the altar smug as a minister. I hope others will follow Juan, that whosoever seeks to honor their neighbor mutely will be able to do so, sans a fancy title like chief. Among the flock I receive the host. There you let me be, not misnaming me as him. Perhaps you ought to ask Juan, may I be your servant? He has something to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Maybe I'll see you at the Controverse this coming Monday. Maybe they have at least two working cameras now. That place is
We'll hope.
cursed,
I'm
but
planning to be there, but it won't be on Monday. Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day or
oh,
Colum-.
that's right. I think it's the Monday after that.
Well, no. What they're doing is shifting it to Tuesday.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so Controverse next week is not on the 13th, which is Monday. It is on the 14th, which is Tuesday in Malden at whatever it is, 145 Pleasant Street. If you're
Yeah.
around, go. It's a great time.
Hop, skip, and a jump from the Orange Line too, so that's why I like it, among other reasons. We'll have more North Shore invaders on the mic, I'm sure. But first, let's go to Miss Jan Rowe, who's waiting in the background.
Gotcha.
Hi. Um, this is from the weekly, the Black Seed Writers every Tuesday morning. It's St. Paul's. This is called Provocation. At the turn of the century to 2000s, friends said buy a house now, as they did for 150,000 and sold later for 700,000. The friends were correct. We were outpriced to buy a house as a hedge fund acquired 300,000 houses. Except the Netherlands. They do it different. They don't do it like that. Now, artificial intelligence is pushing $4,000 a month rent and pushing me outside of the city. Really? We stayed renting and helping our elderly friends fight off developers seeking to devour friends' properties. Those same developers who say they will build accessible housing for the disabled. They say it, and then they don't do it. Specifically, they put one I know in a wheelchair on the 11th floor. So, really, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And let's see who the Remnator has selected next. Let's go now. He wasn't number one, but he's close enough. What the hell? Let's welcome up Mr. John Wezick.
Hi. So, I was thinking about Magda Goebbels and how she poisoned her six children in the Fuhrer bunker, as one does. So this poem is called Wo ist Mutter? Two girls, blonde hair, blue ribbons, bare feet caked with dirt. Their nightgowns smell of diesel, breath tastes of bitter almond. I want Mama, little Haida says. She'll put us back in that basement. Helga drags her sister past masked men deporting former allies to the Taliban. Have you seen my Helga, meine Haida? Magda staples a poster to an almond tree. FBI agents in blue jackets don't reply. Pink blossom, serrated leaves, smell of diesel, taste of bitter almond. I want cake, I want Blondie, Heidi says. I want Hilda and Helmut and Hulda and Hedda. I want to sing the leader a song. Show trials, lawsuits, rubber stamps, and judges' robes. Pink blossoms, serrated leaves, smell of diesel, taste of bitter almond. After an anti-fascist salute at the inauguration, billionaires bankrupt the sick, starve the poor. Magda joins the president in the Horst Wessel song. I von mir, welke Hände, welke Hände, welke Hände in Himmelblau. Green fruit, pink blossoms, smell of diesel, taste of bitter almond. Tanks in D.C., predator drones over Portland, Gaza on Beale Street, iron lungs, broken test tubes, enemies within. Why is your neck bruised? Haida asks. Serrated leaves, green fruit, smell of diesel, taste of bitter almond. Partisans burn their rifles, mail excuses with requests for donations. Hush, children, Magda fields her daughters poppies and marzipan. Pink blossoms, serrated leaves, smell of diesel, taste of bitter almond.
Nicely done, Mr. Wezick. Up next, Let's take a quick, more visual interlude with our resident visual poet from Delaware. Let me take a minute to make sure I approve of screen sharing. And now that I have done so, we can welcome up Mr. Robert Fleming.
Thank you, Chad. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming. I'm a visual poet and digital artist from Lewis, Delaware, and I'm going to share a digital artwork and a poem. I'm currently working on a digital art series of the Seven Wonders of the World, and I'm going to share this temple from the city of Selkirk, Turkey, called the Ephesus Temple of Artemis. So it's past this one. Here we go. So this is the original image which I scraped from the internet. Looks like a traditional Roman or Greek temple. So here I have a black and white version of the temple. And I started using a filter called Starry Night, which is inspired by Vincent van Gogh, captured some of the lighting of it, but the stars are just dots, they're not swirls. And then this is a filter called Grunge, which actually comes out, makes very interesting images. Here's another one which makes colorful dots. And these are ink speckles. And this is speckled circles. It sort of makes the image look like it's fading. And this is another intensity of that same filter. Here we're back to liquefied schmear, which is more of a traditional impressionistic image. And this is more heading towards surrealism. You can see at the top of the image, it sort of looks like a face, a little bit like a ghost. And here I am using a filter called liquefied wobble, which turns your image into a circle. And then the original image is on the top, and the one on the bottom, which was my favorite, was the one where the temple looks like it's fading out into a speckled mist. And I'm going to share one poem. I'm currently participating in the Massachusetts Poetry Olympics. And this week, with my participation in the poetry hurdles, I had an injury and I really had a bad scabbing on my knee. But I will read the poem anyways. This is in the category of haiku. Vow of poverty. Which is better, which is worse? Vow of poetry. So thank you for letting me share both a visual work and a poem. And I wanted to give out a shout out to MP Carver in the room, who's one of the editors of a magazine called Molecule, who I think is Jack also an editor, who will be featuring one of my digital arts upcoming, I think it's around the 15th, which is a bee. So thank you, and I will put the link to the magazine in the chat.
Yes, we just came out earlier this week, so it's out now.
Yeah, I put the link up on Tuesday. It looks fantastic. So much props to MP Carver and Kevin Carey for all their work and all the fellow contributors. Though not an editor of Molecule, this North Shore Invader was a past Don't Sue feature this year, and it's great to welcome him back. Jack Jower.
Thank you. Yes, no, not a Molecule editor, just a Molecule fan. So I'm going to read two, if that's okay. The first I'm going to read is, so we as a North Shore community, and maybe as a whole poetry community, recently lost Jennifer Martelli. So I'm going to read a book from her, or from the most recent book that was published before she passed, called Psychic Party Under the Bottle Tree. This was put out by Lily Poetry. So if you want a copy, that's where you go. They maybe also get the credit for this absolutely beautiful cover. So the poem I'm gonna read is the first poem in the book. Jen knew how to open books. So this poem is by Jennifer Martelli. It's called "Is There Anything Under That Layer?" I fear suffocation and I fear snakes. And once in a movie, I saw a man with a python wrapped around his whole head. He couldn't even scream. That actor, a pale, flaccid man, wry and almost amused, died not long ago. One summer, the previews and teasers ran in a loop for the Mummy Redux. A young princess, betrayed by her father, was mummified alive, wrapped in cloth and locked in an iron tomb, carved with the face of a screaming woman and snakes. A snake can crawl brand new out of its own long skin. The father betrayed his daughter because he adhered to his own mythology, like most fathers. I think I fear suffocation because of the weight covering me, stars asphyxiating themselves, colors imploding into jewel tone hues like the diamonds of a hungry snake. One friend insisted I fear snakes because I fear the penis. Another said I fear trains crossing bridges because they look like snakes if I could see them while flying, way up where the air is too thin to breathe. I fear suffocation and snakes and bridges and the penis. But mostly, I don't want to be disregarded. That's the fear. I'm wrapped in snakeskin and cloth and cold, thick iron. It's heavy and I'm left. I'm just left. So that's Jennifer, who, was brilliant and beautiful. And I'm grieving maybe a little bit too openly, but so I'm going to now read one of mine, which I guess is another one of those angry poems. This one, I'm going to quote some things in this poem. Both of the quotes come from the court records from New Plymouth Colony. So these records have long been digitized. They're online. You can find them. So this poem is called Justice. Where and when is important because I'm always living in a different place. There's the Pacific Ocean, visible from the couch I sleep on. That means it's 2015 and I'm in Redondo Beach. And there's the Atlantic Ocean, visible from the bed I sleep on. That means it's 2025 and I'm in Winthrop. And there is the Underdark, that cavern called nothing that yawns beneath the feet of everything. That means it's 1991 and I'm not born yet. The oleanders never actually bloomed. That part's lacking in historical evidence, like the back porch that's actually a second floor balcony. But it doesn't really matter to the story, does it? Which wildness bloomed from the stalk of me? Smell the botanical cyberpunk, the toxin in the flower, rooted deep, deep down into that hot soil called America that yawns beneath the feet of everything that I have ever known. Yes, even before I was born, you were there, America. If the Atlantic Ocean is there, but the oleanders are not, then it's 1637 and it's New Plymouth Colony, and I'm not there, but John Alexander is, walking down a road that no longer exists, intent on breaking the law with Thomas Roberts. John Alexander and Thomas Roberts were both, quote, examined and found guilty of lewd behavior and unclean carriage one with another, by often spending their seed one upon another, which was proved both by witness and their own confession, end quote. And the court ruled that John Alexander, quote, be severely whipped and burnt in the shoulder with a hot iron, and to be perpetually banished from the government, from the soil of New Plymouth. And if he be at any time found within the same, to be whipped out again by the appointment, by the order of the next justice, etc., and so as oft as he shall be found within this government, end quote. I read things like this and suddenly I can't move. I'm scared and getting scareder. What if I'm stuck this way? What if it never gets better? Better to uproot myself and escape from this where and when and go where? And go when? No matter where and when I go, there America is again. Whip in one hand and hot iron in the other. America, who are you? Are you the soil, like they say? Are you the court? Are you the laws that bloom red, white, and blue from its cold shrub? Does it really matter who you are, America? Did it matter to John Alexander, who never did manage to escape from you? Now I see your choking roots beginning to turn toward me, and no, I don't believe it matters from which sick plant they've grown. Known or not, you're still deadly. That's that, the end. Thank you so much.
That's more than enough. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Good to have you back, Jack. Now, a little interlude with Mr. Strawberry Beret himself, Mr. Bill Lewis.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chadford. It is a glory and a pleasure to be here with y'all. 2 years ago, Palestine invaded Israel. Today, there is a real chance that we might finally find lasting peace in the Middle East. I know that there are people who are claiming that no, Palestine has to keep fighting and fighting and fighting until all of Israel is eradicated, and yet that's never going to happen. So I simply pray that you can find it in your hearts to support a peace between Israel and Palestine and the whole Arab world. Yes, I have something to say, which is not so quite so unpleasant and depressing. Where is it? I wrote this. It was so exciting. I want to share this with you. Where is my wonderful... There's naked girls in the swimming pool. This information was intended for his friend on the couch, but in the middle of a large party with raucous noise going on, several people overheard him shouting it, and it spread across the party like wildfire. Pretty soon everybody in the whole world knew that there's naked girls in the swimming pool. This was presumably his first time at a party with graduate students from Stanford Computer Science and Linguistics. But there it is. Not surprisingly, by the end of the evening, there were no naked girls in the swimming pool. They were on the dance floor, still naked, dancing up a storm, screaming and yelling, and getting their rocks off, yelling, "There's naked girls on the dance floor!" And that's life. It was so beautiful. It was so funny. We were so happy. We work our asses off in computer science and in linguistics. Day after day, we spend 12, 14-hour days studying, thinking, trying to create. And when we let loose, we get to let loose. Silicon Valley was the home of hot tubs. I have seen most of my peers in the buff. And okay, whatever. And this is what I want to share with my students. The kids that I teach today, I want my high school students to recognize the kind of happiness that exists out there. I see too much of America which is tightening down, getting so negative and saying we can't, we can't, we can't. No, everything is evil. And I want my kids to see what is good and all the wonderful things that there are, the wonderful thing that we have done. Oh my God, we're just a bunch of stupid graduate students, but we're changing the world. We started a dance club, a square dance club. The thing about square dance is no talent required. If you can walk from here to there, that's enough talent. Now, you have to be able to follow complicated patterns with 8 other people at the same time. And, well, that's what computer science students are really, really good at. And that's what we did. And it was so wonderful. We had so much fun. And we fell in love with each other. We cared about each other. We were all working in our own areas, but we were all working together and ultimately building a better world. Look at the world you have. Think about COVID. All the fears of COVID. Why did it get solved? Why did we have a vaccination? Because of our work. We're the ones who did that. And all the wonderful things you have nowadays on the web. This is a time of blessedness, and I want my students to feel happy, really see the opportunity, how good it is out there, and stop being scared of every little bug that comes by, and throw themselves into what they care about, and do their part to build a better world.
Thank you, Bill. Getting closer to the end of the open mic, I'd like to bring up, I believe, the last North Shore Invader, unless one of the people who've been quiet so far want to participate, like Cher or Sylvan. We'll bring up next, second to last person in the open mic thus far, Auntie Carver, or MP Carver.
Thank you.
Auntie Mel.
Thanks, kid. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here for Toby's feature. Great job, kid. I'll just not to embarrass him too much, but I'll just say, I first started taking him to Walnut Street at years ago. He was 12 and he'd been there once or twice before then. And every week I kept thinking, oh, he's going to be so bored. He's going to say, I don't want to come back again. And he never has. And yeah, so I'm so proud. I wish I got started so early, but okay, anyways, on and on. But I'll just read one poem tonight. Uh, which I don't remember if I read the last time I was here or not. Metamorphosis concluded. I dreamt you were a turbine and I was steam. Then I took solid form. I was a sidewalk and you a young tree just planted at its edge. Then you turned into firewood and I with your stone mantle covered in tchotchkes. But I got sick of it. I became a warm wind blowing through the streets, and you were New York City, busy, busy, busy. Then we got serious. You were JFK, and I was LaGuardia, two entirely separate airports full of little distracting planes. This went on for a while. Then I fell into disrepair. But you were a contractor who was friends with the former mayor's wife's close cousin. You became the grift, and I the gleaming metal handcuffs. That was working out, so that's how we've stayed. Thanks.
All right, thanks for stopping by, MP. And now to conclude the open mic, we have our oddball poet columnist. Check out his work every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. with his column, It's All One Thing. going consistently for over a decade. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a poem here called Just Like Ice. As they continue to scapegoat the victims, the Zionists are so sure in their sectarian and racialized discrimination that they can't stop committing public torture and assassination. Even though they've taken a flotilla of folk prisoner who they know will soon be released, and for once and for all, everyone report exactly how Zionists dehumanitarians treat those they have kidnapped, making them kneel before their tormentors, long and cincing plastic ties so tight they damage nerves and cut off circulation to hands, fingers, feet, and toes. And here's a little song to go along with that. Because we are one family, wherever we may be, one union shall unite us, forever proud and free. No tyrant shall defeat us, no nation strike us down. All those who toil will greet us, the whole wide world around. Our siblings are all others, forever hand in hand, where chimes the bell of freedom, that is our native land. Our brothers' fears are our fears, yellow, white, or brown. Our sisters' tears are our tears, the whole wide world around. Let every voice be thunder. Let every heart beat strong. Until all tyrants perish, our work shall ne'er be done. Let not our memories fail us. The lost year must be found. Let slavery's chains be broken, the whole wide world around. The whole wide world around. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Check out his column. Check out oddballmagazine.com. We're looking for very current work. So we're always accepting submissions. That's not just poetry, but art as well. Many of the people on the open mic here are past or even longtime contributors, especially Robert Fleming, who drew up the banner for the Horathon. That's right, the Horathon's coming up. Um, so so I'm encouraging people to do that, but to check out the guidelines. I'll post the guidelines link on here. But basically, we don't want conventional horror, zombies, or for wusses. We don't. We want the true horror outside your window, in your own rooms.
You mean
Would
teenage
you
vampires, Chad?
No teenage vampires, unless they actually act like real teenagers yelling, "You don't get me!" You know, like. But or your daughter dating a teenage vampire, saying, "You don't know him like I do. He's the Prince of Darkness. I can change him." But anyway, but definitely more focused on real world horror than conventional mummies, vampires. Though if you are convincing, we can do one of those as well. But you have to be very, very convincing. Yes, my story is half written. Good Lord. But oh God, no, I'm always late. I finished a suspense story right after the due date. if I'm lucky, I can make the Christmas deadline, which I started for last year and missed, and this year's coming up. But anyway, more important things. The feature that you came to see is about to come on. You saw the flyer. You probably saw the cute picture with the dog. But who is this guy? Well, if you didn't check the bio on stuntsoupoetry.blogspot.com, you wouldn't know the following. Student by day and poet by night, Tobias Hofacre is a 15-year-old poet phenom. I love when poets write their own boilerplate, but I would agree. Who's been writing poetry since 2018, inspired by his aunt. Tobias Hofacre published his first poetry chapbook titled A Poet's Dream in 2024. For nearly 2 years, he has also been taking part in a challenge where he writes a poem every day called the Stafford Challenge. Salute. I know people who do that as well. In addition to poetry, Tobias spends much of his time playing video games, participating in extracurricular activities such as marching band, watching football, and NASCAR. I wouldn't have expected that Mad Lib combo. And hanging out with his family and friends. You can find him at the Walnut Street Cafe in Lynn, Massachusetts, where he originally made his poetry debut. He's grown up and still lives and writes on the Massachusetts North Shore in Essex County, Massachusetts. Friends of all ages, shapes, sizes, take your hands and put them together 30 to 40 times. For Toby.
Thank you very much, Chad. I'm very excited to be here, of course. But before I begin, I just wanted to make sure I thank everyone who's come out, especially those that I call close friends and family, like Cher Valentine, and of course, MP Carver has also made an appearance. Usually every Wednesday we end up going to a cafe in Salem, doing some bingo with a couple of our other friends, and today was no different. And she definitely helped me put some of these poems together that I have to share with you tonight. But without further ado, first I'm going to start off with saying most of these poems that I've written for this feature all come from my creative writing class, where I've received prompts every day for the last month. So, but first I'll start with this poem I wrote on September 8th. It's called The Beginning of Poetry. All writers have their own entrance into the writing spectrum. Maybe it's just a passion, or a family tradition, or a way to express yourself. In my eyes, the beginning of poetry is one of the biggest steps in life you could possibly take. It could entail anything. Write about a long car ride to Florida, or an experience of credit card debt. It could be about struggles with mental health, or a polar bear who didn't get his minimum wage job at Starbucks. It could be about something that needs to be fixed. It could be a hypothetical scenario about what could happen if pigeons learned how to speak Russian. It could be serious, motivating, scary. It could be humorous, unfathomable, or God forbid, insane. My point is, poetry is about what you believe, what you say, think, hear, or dream about. It's about the good, the bad, and all in between. But the most important thing, the one thing you must always understand and remember about poetry, is that poetry is all about you. Now, this second poem I wrote on September 10th, 2025, and this came about thinking about, I as you can see, I'm growing a very small mustache right on my face. And so I wrote this poem about a razor blade, and it's literally just called Razor Blade. Razor blade, tool to cut hair or shave hair. That's all I know. Razor blade goes buzz, buzz, buzz. Hair is easy to cut when using a razor blade. Razor blade is a capitalist. Razor blade is a business entrepreneur, an ad campaigner for a company created to address men's health. Razor blade is a hard-working employee. He works minimum wage jobs with big dreams to finally regain money on his poorly thought investments. Razorblade can write without a pen. His hair cutting skills are considered to be extraordinary, but Razorblade does not believe in himself, for he is just a Razorblade. Though what Razorblade doesn't know is that each step he takes, he's one step closer to saving 15% or more on his car insurance. Now, this next poem came about from my computer's Google Drive. I was sorting through my Google Drive and I was like, hey, what is this random file that I have inside of my Google Drive, and why is it an MP4 file? And I decided to write about it because I hadn't opened this file since 2022. And I was very curious of what was really in there. So this poem is called RP Replay _ final 16859818131.mp4. That title that I just read is a video file in my school Google Drive that I have not opened since the exact date of January 16th, 2022. I don't plan to open it now or 10 years in the future, though I do know that it is there. It's in between whiteboard22.mp4 and mymovie14.mov, both of which I have opened in the past 2 weeks. So, why is my computer telling me about RP Replay _ final 16859818131.mp4? What could possibly be inside this file that would be so important for me to see for the first time in 3 years? How would RP Replay _ final 16859818131.mp4 be more important than Tobias Hofacre Übersiedlung 1 Google Doc assignment, or the infamous 4,597 Gmail notifications I haven't read? I don't know, but I do know that I do not intend on finding out. So this next poem I wrote because in my English classroom, I was staring at I sit right next to a window, and this window has a sticky note on it that says, please do not open these windows. It never gave a reason why, and when I asked the teacher, she just said, I don't want the windows open. But I hadn't come to that conclusion when I wrote this poem. So I wrote this very interesting idea of what this note meant. It's called Sticky Note. Please do not open these windows, sticky note reads while hanging off the window handle in my English classroom. Why? I ask myself. It could be because of the heat. It is a sweltering 54 degrees Fahrenheit outside today. Maybe it's because of the man driving a dune buggy through the school parking lot while drinking a bottle of smart water. Maybe the 2 trees next to the sidewalk would cause a distraction while they blew in the wind. Maybe the 17 parked cars, a BMW with its hazards on, and the sparking generator next to the American flag is the disturbing cause of this ban on open windows during CP English 10 at exactly 10:08 a.m. with 56 seconds left in the minute. Maybe the 3 stacks of the books called The House on Mango Street could be blown away by the 6-mile-an-hour northeasterly blowing winds. Maybe the sticker that says "Never Stop Dreaming" with a small cyan butterfly with white spots could be ripped off the wall by the window handles. How about the singular tree branch touching the window would fall onto the BMW with its hazards on? Maybe that's the reason this window can't be opened. Or maybe they just don't want it open. I'd never thought of that. This next poem came about when I thought about car insurance. Now, most adults think of car insurance and think, oh, it's just another bill I have to pay. But I decided to put a little spin on the term car insurance and instead come up with something new, something I can advertise to a whole group of people. This is called poet insurance. Poet insurance was created to help poets earn more money with their words. Poet insurance will provide you with the money needed to buy pens and paper from the local Staples. Poet insurance provides lined paper health benefits. Poet insurance provides you with infinite penning and one idea per week. Poet insurance provides you with your very own poet laureate license plate. Poet insurance will help you apply to college. It will help you organize 30 to 45-minute features at local coffee shops. It will ensure the ability to publish your stories. It will provide you with your very own poet idea development consultant. Claimed by signing up weekly payments of $25.62. Claim available today. Go to www.poetryinsurance.com/poetrypoets ... That's www.poetryinsurance.com/poetrypoets ... This next one, this is another creative writing prompt about insurance against book sparing. But it might be .egg. Who knows? This next poem I wrote was another prompt from my creative writing class. And my creative writing teacher walked up to me was like sitting in front of the class and talking about the lesson that we were about or the prompt that we were about to do, and she was like, "All right, class, so today I want you to all think, what would you want to do if you went to the past or future? Would you want to go to the past or future?" And I was like, I can probably spin this into something. And so I did. And I came up with this. It's called time travel. A question I'm often asked is, "Hey, Toby, if you could time travel to any part of the past or future, where would you go?" Up until about 5 minutes ago, I had never really put that much thought into it. But now here I am, tasked with coming up with a time I would accept traveling to. Perhaps I should return to 4 days ago when it was Sunday and I had nothing to do. Perhaps I should travel forward to the weekend so I can finally relax, meditate, and prepare for my uncle's celebration of his cat's 4th birthday. Though I feel as though it would be a waste of my time building a scientific wizardry, unbelievable project just so I could go tell my past self to take his meds on the morning of a test. If I decided to time travel to the future to speak to 2 days later Toby, he would already know that I have time traveled to speak to a future me, because he already did it. Future me would have already written this poem and meditated to prepare for cat parties. So, I ask you, listener, where would you time travel to? This, it was an excellent cat party. That is true. Very fun cat party that I got to go to, where MP was there. Very enjoyable cat party. This next poem it's got one poem and then there's a second poem. This is really all about colors. We had a prompt about colors in creative writing class, and I was like, well, I did just lose my pen recently, so I came up with this. I'm writing in orange. I'm writing this poem in orange. I've lost my old pen. All my new poems will be orange. Orange is not my favorite color, but I can accept writing a poem with an orange pen. All of my important writing is now orange. Notes in math class? Orange. Notes in history? Orange. Prompts in my creative writing class? You guessed it. Orange. My school colors are orange. The rules on the walls of my creative writing class are orange. The schedule is highlighted in orange. The Panther news site is orange. The lunch option sheet in the middle of the lunchroom is orange. The bathroom stalls are orange. Band website, orange. Pen ink, orange. Lines, orange. Stickers, orange. Jerseys, orange. Uniforms, orange. Hats, orange. Paws, orange. Orange, orange. It's all orange, spelled Orange. Is orange taking control of my life? Is orange the only real color? Is orange orange because orange is orange? Why is orange? What is orange? What would life be without orange? Is life just orange? Am I an orange? Ah, yes, the orange heart. Thank you, Auntie Mel. This poem, the second part to this poem, I got a new pen. What was this, like 3 days later, if I remember? Yeah, 3 days later, I got a new pen, and it's called I'm Writing in Blue Now. A few days ago, I was writing in orange. I didn't really want to write in orange, but now I found a new pen. It's blue. I like blue. I'll now only be writing in blue. There's a song about a world where everything is blue. I seem to be embracing this phenomenon. Now all of my writing will be in blue. My notes will be in blue. My tests will be in blue. It will all be blue. I have not decided on a name for my new blue pen. My last pen's name was David. I liked David. The orange pen's name was Gregory. I didn't enjoy writing with Gregory. On the side of the pen, it states Big Round Stick M. Why is the M there? And why is the word stick missing a K? Coming to a conclusion for a name for this pen will not be possible without outside support. I could ask my Auntie Roo, my dad, or my Uncle Frying Pan, but I do not believe that they could decide on a name. So I ask you, listener or reader, what would you name my pen? David will be missed. Jeremy Harold. These are some good Pugsley Rudolph. These are some good names. I like these names. I'll have to decide by the end of the night what I'm going to name my new blue pen. This one, I decided to put a bunch of browsers to the test and ask them all really dumb questions. And basically I just typed a prompt in and eventually I got a poem out of it. So this is called Pencil Sharpener. Can you put a pen in a pencil sharpener? I ask Google as I walk into school on a Monday morning. Google AI search gives me a generated response from Google Gemini, quote, no, it is not safe to put a pen inside of a pencil sharpener, end quote. Google Gemini shows me no proof. Therefore, I do not trust it. I go to my Safari browser, quote, can you put a pen inside of a pencil sharpener, end quote. Safari responds with no and shows me results from shady websites, the handle saying totallynotazipbomb.com/give us your money. Therefore, I do not trust it. I turn on my MacBook at the breakfast table and open Firefox. I haven't used Firefox in 5 years. Again, I ask, is it safe to put a pen inside a pencil sharpener? Firefox doesn't give me an answer. It is currently down due to a security breach, whatever that is. At this point, I'm frustrated. I want a detailed scientific explanation of why I shouldn't put my pen inside of a pencil sharpener. I'm starting to lose hope, but I have one last option: YouTube, home to videos of why not to put a fork inside of an electrical outlet, or how to open a push door. Inside the search bar, I type once again, can you put a pen inside of a pencil sharpener? YouTube loads. First result says detailed scientific explanation of why you can put a pen inside pencil sharpener. Parentheses, do not try this at home. Parentheses, end quote. Finally, I can test it. No matter if it says, quote, do not try this at home, I can now sharpen my pen safely. I think that's one of my favorite ones I've ever written with my this is a paint by numbers parable of why you shouldn't use AI to diagnose yourself medically. That is true. That is true. This one I wrote because I have been in several cars where I've seen people run red lights or just not go at green lights. And I was like, this might be a fun poem idea. And so I came up with this. It's called Traffic Light. Traffic lights. We see them every day. However, there are those that do not obey traffic lights. Some basics are red means stop, yellow means yield, and green means go. Everyone knows that. These rebels that decide that see this do not believe in this phenomenon. Some believe that red means drive 75 miles an hour through a busy intersection in downtown Los Angeles. Some believe that green means stop, do not pay attention to the sound of beeping horns behind you, and text your friend who wants to know if you are on your way to their house, quote, you are, but you're not making any progress. Therefore, I have concluded that these people have undiagnosed chronic colorblindness. I mean, why else would they floor it on a red light or stop for 2 minutes on a green light? Maybe the red and green remind them too much of a Christmas light. So, to combat this, I propose a new system. Add text to each traffic light that correlates of the needed task at each color. Doing this will fix this problem. I'm sure of it. There will be no unforeseen consequences in doing this. I promise. Now, this poem, I've been dazzling in some list poems. Another creative writing prompt. We were supposed to make a shopping list poem, so here's my shopping list poem. Thursday. It's time to go shopping. You drive to the store, your gas tank half empty, half empty. Would it be half full? Arriving and pulling into the Stop and Shop parking lot with a McDonald's right beside you. An option for lunch after you acquire what you need from Stop and Shop. Your shopping list includes 4 half-gallons of milk, lactose-free milk, Cheetos, toilet paper, steak, bottles of water, 6 packs of Lunchables, Oreos, decorations for your grandfather's 70th birthday party, and more bottles of water. You did bring enough money to purchase all items on your list. At least, you think so. After you have acquired all of your items, you head to the Stop and Shop self-checkout line because you are an introvert and you hate socializing with others, especially minimum wage baggers and cashiers. You check out, and your payment is accepted. You smile, feeling happy, until you realize you forgot the milk. And now, before I, finish with my final poem, I just want to make sure I go ahead and say to everyone that showed up, thank you for all of it. Thank you, Chad, for hosting. Thank you, Dad. He's in the chat somewhere. Mom couldn't make it because she's in class. But we got a lot of people here that support me in so many ways, and I'm so glad to have them. But my final poem for tonight is actually a portion of my first poem from the night. As you may recall, I read a poem called The Beginning of Poetry, and now I'm gonna read my poem called The End of Poetry. The end of poetry is not real. It is unendable. It will never be conquered. The community punches higher than you can even fathom. Poetry is a brotherhood, a family. Brilliant writers like us ensue poetry. Anyways, brilliant writers like us ensure poetry will never meet a gruesome, depressing end. Why? If poetry ended, the world wouldn't be the same. No expression, creativity, humor, happiness, community, story writing, journaling, all of it. Gone. Though, thank goodness this is impossible. Poetry is something that would remain, even during the inevitable heat death of the universe. Its power unmatched, enough to move mountains. It brings people around the world together into one big special family. There will be no end to poetry. Poetry is invincible. Thank you. Thank you.
Bravo! Bravo! Woo.
Keep it going
Gator
with
was
the
very
applause.
excited about the poems, as you
Keep
could,
it,
as you could
keep it
probably.
going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let the record show that it was Toby's own careful editing that blurted out the part where he goes, "Hey, Ma, I'm on the Zoom." In mid-poem.
Exactly. That's what
That
we
was
call
not my editing.
smart.
That was his. That was very professionally done. This is not your first rodeo on the Zoom.
No, it's not. It's actually my third rodeo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What
third
were the
rodeo.
first two?
Bluebird and then Walnut Street.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yes, but thank you for having me, Chad. This is really.
Thank you so much. And I am dying. I am dying to know. I'm dying to know what your next book is going to be called.
Well, I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking whenever I create it, I'm thinking I'm gonna call it Ride the Waves of Poetry, which I think would be an interesting name.
Nice.
But what a night.
This was a hell of a lot of fun. I wouldn't call this a horror themed night, but not everything has to be scary in October. So
Obviously.
we are so this is suitable enough. I want to get some more new blood. Okay, we got new blood. Blood's Halloween. Okay, fine. You happy? I found a way to make it work. You happy now? Come on. Come on. No, come on. You think I don't care about these things? No. Anyway, it's been one of those days. I have a lot of extra energy because my job's a little slow right now. Everyone's gone, and we still had a fire today. But
Are you a federal employee, Chad?
I uh, my job tells me to neither confirm nor deny that.
I see. So are you still getting paid?
Oh yeah, yes,
Okay.
I can neither confirm nor deny that the gravy train has stopped. But so far I'm good. The building almost burned down. Actually, it was an office area where someone had put extra toilet paper towels on a sink, and they put like a pile of like stuff that should have been in a slot somewhere, put it on top of a light, and it took about 16 hours to finally catch flame. And they didn't sound the alarm. I literally sat up. I just like unlurched from the computer. I'm like, is someone baking a cake badly? It was it was not a good look, but we are alive. Work will still happen tomorrow. Darn
Well,
it.
that's
But
good. That's
that is good. But more importantly, I get to share this tomorrow via YouTube and the world. Amazing feature. I thank you for coming, Toby. And
of
I know
course.
we can't. I know we can't adopt you as our open mic mascot, but
You
Walnut Street
partially
is very
adopt,
lucky to have you. Very, very lucky to have you, and I hope you keep on doing this.
of
To
course.
conclude, I think Richard wanted to do a companion piece to James Van Loy's song, so
Go
I just
ahead.
wanted to let him do that here really quickly. It's a little bit of Warren Zevon.
Yeah, to me, one of the most amazing rock poets around. This is a very tender song, and I want to dedicate this to brother James Van Loy. It's called Don't Let Us Get Sick. Don't let us get sick. Don't let us get old. Don't let us get stupid, all right. Just make us be brave and make us play nice. And let us be together tonight. The sky was on fire when I walked to the mill to take up the slack in the line. I thought of my friends and the troubles they had to keep me from thinking of mine. Don't let us get sick. Don't let us get old. Don't let us get stupid, all right. Just make us be brave and make us play nice. And let us be together tonight. Thank you all, poets. Thank you.
I love that. Stay tuned for more Stone Soup news coming up, including the hopefully Halloween themed feature for the month. I at least want to at least have one of the days be kind of spooky. But thank you for all your words and all your sentiments tonight. Thanks again, especially to Toby. Thanks to the North Shore Invaders for coming through en masse as you do. And you guys are welcome and invited here all the time. And think the world of all of you here. Thank you guys, and stay tuned for much more coming. I did put the link for the Halloween Horathon in the chat if you want to take a look at, or you just look up Horathon Oddball, and would love any of your works, including Toby's and anyone else here. Check out other previous Horathon entries. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, MP, for introducing Toby and myself, and thanks to everyone else for your support. It can be like this every week. All we need is you.
Keep it up, Toby.
As I also like to say,
Thank you,
the
everyone.
show's over. See you next time.
Bye, everyone. Great job, Toby.
Toodaloo. See you, everyone.